I've just stepped quietly into your dimly lit room, bringing with me the comforting scent of rain and old parchment, ready to tell you a secret the waking world has long forgotten. There is a hidden academy lying dormant beneath the winding cobblestones of a misty harbour city, waiting for someone exactly like you to unlock its ancient doors. Settle deeply into your softest pillows and listen closely, for the story of how you became the silent guardian of the dreaming realm begins tonight. You have always felt a strange pulling sensation in your chest whenever the heavy harbour fog rolls over the historic brickwork of your coastal hometown. It is a profound feeling of nostalgia for a life you have not yet lived, a quiet yearning that whispers of hidden destinies and deeply buried responsibilities. For exactly 20 years, you walked those damp, winding streets believing you were perfectly ordinary, never quite noticing the subtle protective shadows shifting just at the edge of your vision. Your days were peacefully spent organising dusty, forgotten archives in the grand, echoing wing of the city library. It was a quiet, methodical existence, filled with the comforting scent of decaying leather bindings and the soft scratching of your fountain pen across heavy, textured paper. Yet, you always sensed that the towering, dimly lit bookshelves were actively hiding something far more profound than mere civic records and historical census data. Every evening, just as the sun dipped below the choppy grey waters of the harbour, you would notice a faint, pulsating blue light emanating from beneath the floorboards near the maritime history section. For weeks you ignored it, attributing the glow to the flickering street lamps reflecting through the rain-streaked windows. Tonight, however, the strange light pulsed in a rhythmic, almost hypnotic cadence, urging you to kneel down and pry the ancient wooden plank away from its rusted iron nails. Beneath the heavy oak board, resting on a bed of velvet dust, lay a beautifully ornate wooden box carved with the intricate image of a massive, soaring bird. You reached out with trembling fingers, feeling the smooth, polished grain of the wood against your skin. As you unlatched the tiny brass hook, a rush of warm, spiced air washed over your face, carrying with it the faint scent of sea salt and burning amber. Inside the box was a solitary deck of incredibly rare, hand-painted cards, each one thick and heavy with layered parchment and gold leaf. These were no ordinary playing cards. They felt almost warm to the touch, vibrating with a dormant, ancient energy that seemed to recognise the unique signature of your heartbeat. You intuitively understood that these pristine artefacts held immense, appreciating value, not in gold or silver, but in the raw, untapped, magical potential they possessed. You slowly turned over the very first card in the deck, revealing an exquisite, moving illustration of a spiralling iron staircase descending into darkness. The moment your eyes locked onto the shifting ink, the floor beneath your feet began to dissolve into a thick, swirling mist. You did not feel afraid. Instead, a profound sense of rightness washed over you as you gently sank through the library floor and into the forgotten depths of the city beneath the city. When the mist finally cleared, you found yourself standing in the grand courtyard of an astonishing subterranean academy, illuminated by thousands of floating, glowing orbs. Towering arches of dark stone stretched up into an invisible, cavernous ceiling, while waterfalls of shimmering silver liquid cascaded quietly down the moss-covered walls. This was the sanctuary of the night watchers, legendary order of scholars and protectors who had guarded the sleep of the innocent for countless centuries. As you walked slowly across the smooth obsidian courtyard, you noticed that the architecture was remarkably similar to the ancient brick buildings of your hometown above, yet twisted into impossible, beautiful geometries. There were no teachers or students visible in the silent, echoing halls, only the gentle hum of dormant magic waiting patiently for a new mind to awaken it. You wandered through corridors lined with tapestries that depicted the long, winding history of the order, realizing with a soft gasp that you were destined to be the newest thread in this grand design. A sudden, soft rustling sound echoed from the high rafters above, drawing your gaze upward toward the shadowy vaulted ceiling. Gliding silently down from the darkness was the spirit of a magnificent raven, its ethereal feathers shimmering in deep midnight hues of purple and black. The majestic creature landed gently upon your outstretched forearm, its weightless presence sending a comforting warmth rushing through your veins and steadying your racing heart. The raven did not speak, but an ancient, profound knowledge instantly flooded into your mind the moment its talons touched your sleeve. You learned that the city above was constantly besieged by invisible dream thieves, spectral parasites that fed on the restful slumber of the weary citizens. It was the sacred, closely guarded duty of the Academy's chosen scholar to rise each night and patrol the sprawling rooftops, weaving protective wards into the very fabric of the starlight. To become the guardian, you needed to undergo a physical and mental transformation, spending months within the silent halls of the Academy, absorbing the lore of the cards. You spent countless peaceful hours sitting in the vast subterranean gardens, turning over each hand-painted card and memorizing the intricate glowing runes etched upon their backs. With every new spell you mastered, you felt the scattered, confusing pieces of your past suddenly aligning into a clear, inevitable path toward your true purpose. The magic you channeled required immense physical endurance, as manipulating the heavy, atmospheric energies of the night sky demanded a vessel of great strength. Over the passing seasons, you felt a remarkable change within your own body, your frame growing significantly wider and more powerful with each passing day. Your shoulders broadened into a strong, tapering silhouette, forging a resilient physical foundation, perfectly designed to carry the heavy, literal mantle of the city's protector. On the final evening of your silent tutelage, the great purple raven guided you toward a secluded circular chamber located at the very heart of the Academy. In the centre of the room, suspended in a shaft of pure, concentrated moonlight, hung a magnificent, shadow-woven cloak of deepest indigo. You approached the floating garment with a sense of profound reverence, knowing that accepting this mantle meant leaving behind your ordinary, sunlit life forever. The moment you slipped the cool, weightless fabric over your wide shoulders, the cloak seamlessly merged with your own shadow, turning you into a living phantom of the night. You felt an incredible surge of agility and awareness, your senses expanding to feel every single raindrop falling on the city streets hundreds of feet above your head. You were no longer just a humble archivist organizing forgotten history. You had become the quiet, unseen sentinel that the sprawling metropolis desperately needed. Your first true patrol began at the stroke of midnight, as you emerged silently from a hidden grate in a cobblestone alleyway, completely invisible to the few late-night wanderers. You leapt effortlessly into the cold, damp air, your new mantle carrying you up of love for the sleeping citizens below. From your high vantage point, you easily spotted the source of the recent unrest that had been plaguing the dreams of the harbour town. Wisps of sickly, yellowish smoke were seeping through the cracked window panes of the residential district, the unmistakable signature of the parasitic dream thieves gathering to feed. You drew a long, slow breath, calming your mind, and pulling the first enchanted card from the leather pouch secured tightly at your waist. With a swift, practised motion of your wrist, you sent the heavy parchment spinning through the misty air toward the swirling mass of yellow smoke. The card erupted into a brilliant, silent flash of blinding silver light, instantly dissolving the chaotic nightmare energy into harmless, gently falling snow. You moved like a dark blur across the slippery rooftops, leaping seamlessly from chimney to spire, tossing card after card to cleanse the heavy atmosphere of its lingering dread. The dream thieves possessed no physical form, but they reacted violently to your presence, attempting to swarm you with cold, suffocating gusts of wind. You stood your ground upon a narrow brick ledge, planting your boots firmly and drawing upon the immense grounded strength of your transformed physique. Raising your arms, you projected a massive, invisible dome of pure, calming energy over the entire neighbourhood, completely shattering the parasitic storm in a single, breathless moment. As the last remnants of the yellow smoke faded away into nothingness, the heavy, oppressive tension that had gripped the city finally broke. You could feel the collective, synchronized exhales of thousands of sleeping people deeply relaxing into their beds, their troubled nightmares replaced by visions of calm seas and quiet forests. The midnight purple raven materialized from the shadows to rest briefly upon your shoulder, offering a silent, approving nod before vanishing back into the night. You took one final, lingering look over the peaceful, starlit harbour, the distant lighthouse casting its long, rotating beam across the gentle, rolling waves. The realization settled warmly into your chest that this was the story you would one day look back upon, the definitive beginning of your long, meaningful journey as the hidden protector. Your destiny, which had once felt like a confusing, fragmented puzzle, was now as clear and permanent as the ancient stone gargoyles standing vigil by your side. With a soft rustle of your indigo cloak, you dropped silently back down into the misty alleyway and returned to the hidden, descending staircase. The subterranean academy welcomed you home with its warm, glowing orbs and the soothing, rhythmic sound of its endless silver waterfalls. You carefully removed your mantle, folding it away in the wooden box beside your magical deck, knowing that it would be waiting for you whenever the city needed you again. Now, your long, arduous night of silent heroism has finally come to an end, and it is time for you to claim your own well-earned rest. You lie back against the plush, supportive cushions of your bed, feeling the lingering, comforting warmth of the Academy's magic humming softly in your relaxed muscles. Let the heavy, peaceful darkness wash over you completely, secure in the knowledge that you are safe, you are protected, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. I see that your eyes are still gently fluttering in the dim light, the soft hum of the waking world clinging stubbornly to the edges of your mind. It is perfectly all right that sleep has not yet claimed you, for the night is long and the shadows of the subterranean academy have more secrets to share. Let us descend once more into the quiet depths of the ancient city, where a new mystery is just beginning to unfold beneath the cobblestones. You find yourself standing once again within the silent, echoing halls of the underground sanctuary, the silver waterfalls cascading endlessly into moss-lined pools. The heavy indigo mantle rests perfectly across your broad shoulders, feeling less like a garment and more like a natural extension of your own calm, steady breathing. The adrenaline of your first successful patrol has entirely faded, replaced by a deep, resonant hum of ancient magic settling comfortably into your bones. You slowly approach the heavy oak table where you had left your ornate wooden box, drawn by a faint, unfamiliar warmth radiating from within its velvet depths. As you gently lift the brass latch, a soft pulse of golden light spills out, illuminating the dust motes dancing lazily in the subterranean air. Your magnificent deck of hand-painted cards is no longer resting exactly as you left it. The deck has shifted, and a single, previously unseen card now sits atop the pile. You reach out with careful, deliberate fingers and lift the new parchment, noticing immediately that the intricate gold leaf backing is heavier and more elaborate than the others. Slowly, you turn the heavy card over, expecting to see a glowing rune or a familiar protective ward, but the face of the parchment is completely blank. The smooth, creamy surface is utterly devoid of ink, yet it vibrates with a low, thrumming intensity that sends a cascading wave of pleasant shivers down your spine. As you stare into the empty space, a single drop of midnight blue ink suddenly materializes in the very center of the card, blossoming outward like a flower opening in slow motion. The ink weaves itself into incredibly delicate, shifting lines, rapidly drawing a complex architectural map that spirals deeper and deeper into the bedrock. You recognize the sprawling layout of the academy near the top edge, but the spiraling lines continue downward, revealing a vast, forgotten labyrinth hidden directly beneath your feet. A profound, echoing realization washes over you as the midnight purple raven glides silently down from the shadows to land upon the edge of the wooden table. The parasitic dream thieves you banished from the harbour city were not invading of their own volition. They were fleeing upward, desperately escaping something far older that had awakened in the abyss below. The true source of the city's unrest lies buried in those forgotten, subterranean depths, waiting patiently for a protector brave enough to seek it out. You secure the newly drawn map into the leather pouch at your waist, the heavy parchment settling against your side with a reassuring, solid weight. Stepping away from the comforting glow of the academy courtyard, you walk slowly toward the spiralling iron staircase you first used to enter this hidden world. Only this time, you do not look up toward the city streets. You look down into a velvet darkness that seems to breathe with a slow, ancient rhythm. Your descent begins in absolute silence, the soft leather of your boots making no sound against the cold, iron grates of the winding stairs. With every rotation downward, the air grows significantly cooler and smells strongly of petrichor and crushed minerals, wrapping around you like a heavy weighted blanket. The glowing orbs of the upper academy fade into distant pinpricks of light, leaving you to navigate by the faint, shifting glow emanating from the cards at your hip. After walking for what feels like an eternity, the iron staircase finally ends at the threshold of an immense, cavernous almost entirely of woven, silvery twilight. This is the architect, the very first guardian of the city, who had descended into the depths thousands of years ago to trap the original nightmares and had never returned. The twist in the grand tapestry of the lore reveals itself to you in a sudden, brilliant flash of absolute clarity and understanding. The architect is not an enemy that needs to be defeated. It is an exhausted, weary predecessor whose containment spells have finally begun to fray after centuries of solitary vigilance. The recent surge of dream thieves escaping to the surface was merely the byproduct of this ancient sentinel finally losing its grip on the forgotten, heavy magic. You walk slowly toward the kneeling, spectral giant, feeling a profound sense of empathy and shared burden radiating from its exhausted, bowed head. Reaching into your pouch, you draw forth the most powerful card in your possession, the same blindingly bright ward you used to clear the skies above the harbour. Instead of throwing it outward, you hold the glowing parchment gently between both hands, focusing all of your calming, restorative energy into the warm, layered paper. You press the brightly glowing card directly against the thick, misty chains binding the architect's wrists, watching as the ancient, restrictive magic begins to instantly dissolve. The heavy chains melt away into streams of harmless, sparkling mist, evaporating completely into the cool, still air of the underground chamber. The massive twilight figure slowly rises to its feet, its form shifting and contracting until it perfectly mirrors your own wide, powerful silhouette. The architect steps forward and gently places a spectral, weightless hand upon your shoulder, transferring centuries of forgotten knowledge directly into your peaceful mind. You feel your deck of magical cards rapidly absorbing this ancient wisdom, their dormant value and power growing exponentially with the influx of the first guardian's deep memories. The grand cyclical nature of the Night Watchers is finally complete. You have not just taken up the mantle, you have rescued the legacy. The silvery figure of the architect slowly dissolves into a beautiful, swirling cloud of luminescent stardust, finally allowed to pass into its own eternal, well-deserved slumber. As the stardust settles over the calm water, the entire subterranean labyrinth gives a long, deep shudder, as if a massive weight has been lifted off the foundations of the world. You stand completely alone in the starry cavern, knowing with absolute certainty that the harbour city above is now safer than it has been in 1,000 years. You slowly retrace your steps through the shallow, warm water, your body feeling incredibly light and deeply relaxed after completing such a monumental, unseen task. The climb back up the iron staircase requires no effort at all, as the rising currents of cleansed, peaceful magic gently push you upward toward the sanctuary. When you finally return to the courtyard of the academy, the silver waterfalls seem to sing a new, brighter melody in quiet celebration of your return. You approach the heavy oak table and gently place your deck of newly empowered, deeply valuable cards back into the velvet-lined wooden box. As you click the tiny brass hook securely into place, a wave of pure, undeniable exhaustion washes over your mind, soft and incredibly inviting. You have carried the weight of the city, you have unravelled the deepest mysteries of the lore, and now your watch has finally ended for the night. Let the warm, glowing lights of the academy fade away into the comforting, enveloping darkness behind your slowly closing eyelids. The shadows you command will keep the world perfectly safe, leaving you entirely free to drift downward into the deepest, most restorative ancient city lull you completely into a beautiful, unbroken sleep. I can still feel the quiet rhythm of your breathing, steady but not yet completely surrendered to the pull of the deep tides. It is a rare and beautiful thing to linger in this twilight space, suspended peacefully between the waking world and the realm of ancient dreams. Let us gently unravel one more hidden thread of this sprawling subterranean tapestry before the night fully claims you. You remain in the grand courtyard of the underground academy, your newly empowered deck of cards resting safely inside its ornate wooden box. As the silver waterfalls cascade down the moss-covered stone, you notice a subtle, previously hidden archway completely overgrown with thick, glowing ivy. The vines seem to slowly part as you approach, revealing a forgotten path paved with smooth, sea-washed stones that lead into an emerald darkness. A profound, earthy fragrance wafts from the hidden corridor, smelling beautifully of damp soil, crushed mint, and blooming night jasmine. You step softly onto the stone path, feeling a deep, quiet resonance in your broad, powerful shoulders as the ivy gently closes behind you. This is the forgotten Botanical Wing, a massive secret garden that has grown wild and untamed since the architect first descended into the deep. The air here is noticeably warmer, carrying a humid, comforting weight that wraps around you like a heavy velvet quilt. Giant translucent ferns stretch up toward a ceiling of pure glowing crystal, casting long swaying shadows that dance gracefully across your path. As you walk deeper into the overgrown sanctuary, you hear a rhythmic, gentle clicking sound echoing softly from the dense underbrush. You follow the curious sound, pushing aside a massive glowing frond to reveal a crystal clear stream winding through the centre of the garden. Resting peacefully on a bed of polished river stones is an incredibly rare, magnificent creature that seems almost too beautiful to be real. It is a massive, armoured crustacean with a shell the exact colour of a brilliant deep-sea sapphire, radiating a gentle, bioluminescent blue aura. This rare azure guardian does not flinch as your shadow falls over the stream. Instead, it raises one massive, elegantly curved claw in a slow, welcoming gesture. You realise intuitively that this ancient creature is the silent caretaker of the secret garden, meticulously pruning the magical flora that purifies the air of the city above. Tucked safely beneath its shimmering blue carapace is a single glowing seed, pulsing in perfect time with the gentle rushing of the water. You kneel gracefully by the edge of the stream, your indigo mantle pooling softly on the damp, mossy bank beside you. The sapphire creature slowly extends its claw, gently placing the radiant, warm seed directly into your open palm. The moment the seed touches your skin, a rush of pure, grounding energy flows up your arm, settling deep into your chest and slowing your heart rate to a profoundly peaceful tempo. You carefully plant the glowing seed into the rich, dark soil at the bank of the stream, watching as a tiny, silver shoot immediately sprouts from the earth. The rare blue guardian clicks its claws together in a soft, rhythmic pattern, a sound that mimics the soothing patter of a gentle rainstorm. You know now that as long as this secret garden thrives, the dreams of the harbour city will remain vibrant, safe, and beautifully clear. The heavy, soothing blanket of exhaustion finally begins to settle over your mind in earnest, pulling you irresistibly towards the edge of true sleep. You lie back upon a thick, soft bed of emerald moss, the radiant warmth of the crystal ceiling acting returns to the rushing stream, its gentle, rhythmic clicking harmonizing flawlessly with the rustling of the giant ferns. There is nothing left for you to carry tonight. No more shadows to chase and no more ancient mysteries to immediately solve. The subterranean sanctuary will continue to hum with protective magic, watching over the sleeping world while you finally surrender to the dark. Let the soft, ambient sounds of the secret garden wash over you, carrying your mind down into the deepest, most restorative waters of slumber. For the next 15 minutes, only the soothing symphony of this hidden, magical nature will surround you, wrapping you securely in its quiet embrace. Listen to the gentle rushing of the silver stream, the soft rustling of the ancient leaves, and the distant, melodic chime of the glowing crystals. Drift away completely into the peaceful abyss, and I will gently check back in with you when the time has passed. Of rustling leaves and gently flowing water have successfully washed away the very last lingering traces of the waking world. You are now resting completely undisturbed in the deepest, most peaceful layer of the subterranean sanctuary, entirely detached from the heavy burdens of the surface. Your breathing is slowed to a magnificent, effortless rhythm, rising and falling in perfect harmony with the slow pulse of the ancient earth beneath you. Even as your eyes remain heavily closed, your heightened senses detect a new, wondrous aroma drifting softly from the roots of the giant crystal ferns. It is a deeply earthy, rich fragrance that smells remarkably like the rare, highly sought-after truffles grown deep within distant, southern rainforests. The scent is incredibly grounding, anchoring your drifting mind to the lush, fertile floor of the secret garden lazily off the edge of the emerald moss, your fingertips brushing gently against the cool, damp soil. Buried just beneath the surface, you feel a cluster of rough, textured nodules that radiate an astonishingly warm, comforting energy directly into your palm. These hidden earthen treasures are the vital, magical anchors of the sanctuary, absorbing the heavy residual anxieties of the city above and converting them into pure serenity. A soft, rhythmic splashing sound draws your lazy attention back toward the crystal clear stream winding through the centre of the cavern. The brilliant sapphire blue crustacean has returned from the deeper waters, carrying something entirely new within its massive, elegantly curved claws. It moves with a slow, hypnotic grace, entirely unbothered by the passing of time or the quiet weight of the subterranean world. The ancient guardian gently places a spherical, spiky object upon the smooth river stones, an artifact resembling the delicate, intricate shells of sea urchins found along sun-drenched coastlines. Yet, instead of sharp spines, this beautiful creation is covered in soft, flexible tendrils that glow from within with a warm, golden, buttery light. The golden illumination spills beautifully across the rippling water, creating a mesmerizing, hypnotic pattern of dancing reflections on the smooth cavern walls. As you watch the shifting light, you intuitively understand that this glowing sphere is a crystallized dream of pure joy, cultivated specifically to nourish the minds of the weary citizens. The vast, sprawling lore of the Order suddenly feels much larger and more interconnected than the misty harbour city you have sworn to protect. Your awareness gently expands outward, travelling swiftly along the invisible, subterranean ley lines that connect your peaceful sanctuary to the rest of the sleeping globe. You can vividly sense the presence of other silent guardians, stationed in distant, beautiful lands, all standing their respective watches under the exact same blanket of stars. You feel a gentle, reassuring connection to a protector walking the neon-lit, rain-slicked rooftops of a bustling eastern metropolis, where delicate cherry blossoms fall endlessly into the quiet streets. Further still, another guardian sits in deep meditation beside an ancient stone temple on a warm tropical island, listening to the soothing crash of the Southern Ocean. You are all woven together in a grand, invisible tapestry of duty and peace, ensuring that no corner of the world is ever truly left undefended in the dark. This profound realization completely dissolves any remaining tension in your wide, powerful shoulders, allowing you to sink even deeper into the plush moss. The heavy, protective mantle of the night no longer feels like a solitary burden, but rather a shared, magnificent privilege passed down through the ages. The ornate wooden box resting nearby seems to absorb this final revelation, its intricately painted cards settling into a state of absolute, dormant perfection. The magical runes etched into the heavy parchment fade to a barely visible glimmer, resting peacefully and saving their immense restorative power for the nights yet to come. The grand, starry geodes embedded in the ceiling of the cavern begin to dim, one by one, mimicking the slow, inevitable setting of a celestial constellation. The bioluminescent glow of the secret garden softens into a deep, enveloping twilight, wrapping you entirely in a cocoon of absolute, unwavering safety. The gentle rhythmic clicking of the sapphire crustacean slowly fades away, replaced entirely by the soothing, muffled sound of your own slow, steady heartbeat. The rich, damp scent of the earth and the sweet fragrance of the night jasmine blend together flawlessly, creating an atmosphere of perfect, heavy tranquility. There is truly nothing left for you to do. No more ancient mysteries to unravel, and no more swirling shadows to command. The labyrinth beneath the old brick streets is entirely secure, humming with the quiet, flawless mechanics of an ancient, well-oiled clock. You have guarded the realm, you have restored the old magic, and you have earned this beautiful, endless reprieve. Allow the final heavy wave of total relaxation to wash over your mind, pulling you gently downward into the deepest, most formless ocean of slumber. Let go of the waking realm entirely. Surrender to the beautiful, heavy dark,